When you interview for a job, you always want to put your best foot forward, but it can seem like there are a million things you could or should be doing in order to make that happen. And after going through this process many times when interviewing for jobs myself and through helping Break Into CRE Academy members navigate the application and interview process over the past few years, I've been able to really zoom in and narrow down on the key things that employers are really looking for today when hiring analysts and associates at top real estate firms. So if you're about to go through this process yourself and want to make sure you're focusing on the biggest wins that can separate you from the pack, in this video, let's walk through the 3 most important things that employers are looking for in new hires at real estate private equity, brokerage, and lending shops, and how to present yourself as the perfect candidate for the position, both on your resume and on interview day. So when commercial real estate firms post an open position, this usually means that the company has a problem that they need to solve internally. And when the need is for an analyst or associate to come and join the team, this problem is usually that the company doesn't have the headcount or the talent that they need in order to be able to analyze deals in their portfolio, underwrite new opportunities, and ultimately close on commercial real estate transactions. And to determine whether or not a candidate can be a solution to this problem, hiring managers will usually be asking themselves 3 main questions when sifting through applications and conducting interviews in order to find the best fit for the position itself and also for the team as a whole. And the first question on this list is directly related to what happens immediately after someone is hired, specifically the training that would be necessary to get someone up to speed, and this is, does this person understand the fundamentals? In most cases, commercial real estate firms are looking to hire the most experienced, qualified, and knowledgeable candidate that applies for the position because that person can usually step in on day 1 and contribute right away. But especially for entry-level roles, the expectation is generally that candidates will only have 1 or maybe 2 real estate internships under their belt, and in most cases, these people will inevitably need some guidance along the way. But with that said, what real estate firms don't want is to have to take the time to teach a new hire the basics or the core fundamentals that are required for the job and that also don't require any on-the-job experience in order to understand. For analyst and associate positions in real estate private equity, brokerage, and lending, this really boils down to 2 main things. The first is a strong working knowledge of the key terms and calculations that are commonly used in real estate finance, and the second is a candidate's financial modeling abilities, specifically in Microsoft Excel. Hiring managers do not have the capacity to train new hires on basic real estate finance terms that someone could easily find in an online course, textbook, or even a simple Google search, and hiring managers also don't have the time to train new hires on the core functions, shortcuts, and formulas in Excel that are often going to be necessary in order to customize, work in, and ultimately build real estate financial models for the firm. And to make sure that it's obvious that you have what it takes to get up and running quickly in the role, it's your responsibility as a candidate to show as clearly as possible on your resume and in your interviews that you wouldn't need your hand held on the basics of the position. This means highlighting any sort of Excel training or past work experience in Excel on your resume, adding relevant coursework you took in college or through your own self-study that taught you the basics of real estate finance, and any other designations, certifications, or awards that you've earned which show your proficiency in Excel or your general knowledge of the industry as a whole. The goal here is to showcase yourself as really a plug-and-play solution, and although any new hire would need to be trained in the specific way the company operates, you need to make it clear that your team won't have to waste time training you on the basics that you could have taken care of before even applying for the job. Now, in addition to someone who understands the fundamentals, employers are also looking for someone who can actually do something with that knowledge and produce the kind of outputs that would meet or exceed the company's standards, which leads me to the next question on this list, which is, can I trust this person's work product? Even though the analyst position is generally an entry-level role, the projects you work on will often be presented to a client, investor, or lender on a deal, and the accuracy, clarity, and professionalism of your work directly affect the reputation of the company you're working for, but also the reputation of your direct manager or supervisor as an individual. This is why attention to detail matters so much on a resume, and why organization, clarity, and thought process matter so much on a technical exam, since these are the things that are going to let an employer see firsthand your ability to represent the company and your ability to catch mistakes on your own. Similar to my earlier comments around training, high-producing brokers, acquisitions directors, and loan originators don't have the time to be in the weeds with every little calculation or formula in a model, or to check spelling and punctuation on every single page of an equity memo or BOV, and with that, these types of people are going to want to hire someone that makes staying out of the weeds relatively easy. And to show that you are that person, this means making sure your spelling, punctuation, and grammar are all correct and clean on your resume and your cover letter, and also making sure that your writing is consistent, clear, and articulate in any communication you have with the firm during the application and the interview process. And on technical exams, where you're asked to complete a case study or build a model, this advice is also applicable here, and being able to put together a pro forma that shows organization, clarity, and attention to detail is huge in demonstrating your ability to make your manager's job easier and to represent the company well in front of clients, partners, and investors. Now, even if you've passed the test on these first two questions, there is still usually going to be one more question on a hiring manager's mind, especially at small to mid-sized firms, and this is, do I think this person will stick around long term? Hiring is extremely expensive, time-consuming, and disruptive for a company, and if you come across as someone who isn't really aligned with the goals of the firm or the job function itself, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to be hired. And this is true at firms of all sizes, but in my experience, this tends to be magnified even more at companies with less than about 50 employees, where members of the team tend to wear multiple different hats and often take on a significant amount of responsibility early on in their tenure. At bigger companies, as I've mentioned a lot on this channel, employees tend to have very clear and narrow job functions, and these companies also usually have very well documented processes and procedures that make these employees, for lack of a better term, relatively replaceable in the grand scheme of things. But when you're working at a startup or a smaller shop with only a handful of employees, your job really starts to matter, and you usually end up becoming responsible for a lot of different things, which makes a quick exit after just 9 to 12 months on the job a pretty big hit for these types of firms. As a general blanket statement, when hiring young talent, most companies in the industry would ideally like to find someone that can grow internally long term, since promoting from within almost always ends up being an optimal solution for the organization from both a financial and operational perspective. So on that note, in an interview, your goal should be to make it clear that if you were offered the position, you wouldn't have plans to go anywhere anytime soon, and you have a clear vision for how you'd like to build your career in the specific sector of the industry the company operates within, and also the specific job discipline you'd be taking on within the firm. Overall, if you want to present yourself as the perfect analyst candidate when applying to and interviewing for roles in commercial real estate, these are the kinds of questions that employers are going to be asking themselves to make a decision, and by proactively addressing these questions, this is one of the best ways to set yourself up for success and land the kinds of jobs you're targeting right now. And if you want some more personalized help with the job search process, building the technical skill sets employers are looking for most, and preparing for interviews at top commercial real estate firms, as always, make sure to check out our all-in-one membership training platform, Break Into CRE Academy. A membership to the Academy will give you instant access to over 120 hours of video training on real estate financial modeling and analysis. You'll get access to hundreds of practice Excel interview exam questions, sample acquisition case studies, and you'll also get access to the Break Into CRE Analyst Certification exam, which covers topics like real estate pro forma and development modeling, commercial real estate lease modeling, equity waterfall modeling, and many other real estate financial analysis concepts that will help you prove to employers that you have what it takes to tackle the responsibilities of an analyst or associate at a top real estate firm. And if you like this video and want to see more content on this channel on commercial real estate careers and the job search process itself, make sure to hit the like button to let me know, and let me know in the comments what you could use the most help with of the 3 points we mentioned. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already to see more videos like this every single week, and I'll see you in the next video.